After the show, we're going to go up to Burroughs Roadhouse in Brighton because they have a prime Angus burger there for only $5. And I recommend anyone to go there. And if you go to Burroughs Roadhouse today, please pick up a copy of The Current because inside it you're going to find some coupons for $5 off any 2 entrees or $15 off any 4 dinner entrees, some half-off coupons, 15% off coupons, lots of coupons. But also they have bands that go there in the evening. Sounds like a real fun place to try out. So give the Burroughs Roadhouse a check. Go in and stop by, and I might see you there sometime grabbing a burger. So we're back. We talked last hour about Black Lives Matter, and we kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the lovely Linda Hughes to join us on the Black Lives Matter, and now that we're talking about something else, she walks in. So,
what about that Black Lives Matter?
Hey, we're just talking, wanted to hear a little bit about your experience you had with them. Over the weekend or the last few days.
We accidentally, Wednesday night, we accidentally ran into them. Literally. We met friends.
What were you driving?
We met friends for dinner down at the Black Pearl, which we'd never been to. A couple of friends of ours, Brad and Laura, said, hey, you guys want to join us down here? We thought, we actually try to avoid Ann Arbor. It's kind of funny. Everybody says, oh, you're living near Ann Arbor. Isn't that great? That's such a great town. We try to not go downtown Ann Arbor just because,
I don't.
Yeah. So we did, and as we were leaving, we noticed all of a sudden there's about 300 people right on Main Street in Liberty, right there in front of the restaurant with the Black Lives Matter signs. Now, the odd thing that we noticed right away, of course, is none of them were black. Truly. There were like 3 black people. Everybody else was like older Ann Arbor hippies with the sign. So we thought, so they're not really committed, but they were big in numbers and they were loud. They had the megaphones and everything. So everyone, of course, went out into the street and mixed it with them a little bit. I told him he should have taken a selfie for the Wham website, but they didn't seem, they certainly weren't enraged or anything. But it's just interesting to watch. And if I would be very curious to know if you went up to one of them and said, what is it that you're fighting for? What is the big injustice? They probably wouldn't have a whole lot to say.
Amazing you brought that up because when I deal with most of these protesters that I've run into that are stuck in ideology, they will recite bumper stickers to you.
Right.
They won't really tell you what they stand by. And I find that there's 3 questions that if I ask them the 3 questions, I didn't know you were going there, but I wrote down the 3 questions so I wouldn't forget them. I ask them 3 questions, and they'll come up and give me this bumper sticker statement, and I'll ask them, why would you say something like that? And they'll stammer and give more bumper stickers or something like that, and you try to push them to it. And then the next thing is, well, what brought you to that conclusion? And they really can't answer.
A 2-part question. That's bad.
And the third one is then, have you considered researching or looking at blank? And then fill in something that is counter to them. And they will not have looked into anything else. So those 3 questions tends to knock anybody who has what I call bumper sticker ideology off their feet.
Right.
And I get most liberals with it.
Yeah.
Well, the one question I would ask them is, do you believe that aborted babies are black lives? Because almost 45% of all of those aborted babies are black babies.
Coexist, woohoo!
Yeah. So if you are concerned about life mattering, let's take a look at that because there are 3,000 of them babies aborted every day.
Point I just try to make, if you ask a liberal that, he's going to change, or she's going to change.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Hey, we got Ken waiting on the line. Ken, how are you doing? You want to talk about prayer in school?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that that is one thing we have got to keep out of the public schools is prayer. There are too many faiths out there. We don't want to have problem with prayer fellowship. Now, I've commented that I'm an Orthodox Lutheran, and I cannot pray with anybody that their teachings are in conflict with my beliefs. And there are other people out there that have similar beliefs. Like, I can't pray with a Roman Catholic. I can't pray with a Pentecostal or Charismatic. I can't pray with a Protestant. And I sure don't want to be praying with a Muslim or a Jew or a Buddhist.
So your prayer group is pretty small.
And so, since we practice, people of my faith practice prayer fellowship, based on Romans 16, 17, and 18. The whole idea is, with those you pray with, you are saying that what they believe is okay. So as a Lutheran, if I'm standing with a Catholic and I'm praying with them, that I'm saying that it's okay for them to be a Catholic. And the same thing would go if I'm standing with a Pentecostal, praying with them. I would be saying that it's okay with me that you practice that faith. Now, I can be friends with them, which I am.
Hey,
Friends with them.
I know where you're coming from, and first of all, I'd say that if you firmly believe that praying with anybody outside your faith would be a sin, I'd say stick to your guns and do what you feel right. It would never cause a brother to fall. But let me give you an example of one time I did pray with a Muslim. He came up and he said, Pastor Rick, will you pray with me? And I said, absolutely. And he told me what he wanted prayer for. He was going through a court trial and everything else. So I started out, Lord, I pray that you show your heart to this man, that he can accept you as his Savior. And he says, you understand I'm a Muslim? I go, yeah, but you understand I am a Christian. So what else do you expect me to pray for you except for your salvation?
Yes.
Right.
So I would say that you got to follow your faith, and you got to follow your dictates that are within your faith. And I certainly do appreciate the faith that you do have, Ken. So keep going strong. With that, something else?
Well, just trying to clarify once again. The whole idea is there's an old saying: at whose pulpit you worship, their doctrine you embrace. And so that's how we look at prayer fellowship.
I understand. I am one that tell any Christian to stand strong by their doctrine and beliefs.
You guys take care.
You too. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Ken.
So what we're going to go into and talk about, I don't know if you people are paying attention to what's going on in our country, but our Senator Gary, I was going to say Gary Williams, Gary Peters.
Did Gary run for Senate and I don't know about
No,
it?
he did, yeah.
He's been missing a few shows here and there, so I wondered what he was up to. Leave it to Gary.
A number of the Democratic senators right now are pushing to bring certain think tanks under the watch of Congress to come in and give testimony and really just harass them. And these are think tanks that fight against the concept of man-made global warming. And I say man-made global warming because, well, nature does some really bizarre things on its own without man getting involved with it.
Yeah.
So God's good like that. But
well, the left calls it man-caused.
yeah, man-caused
Global warming.
And Congressman Gary Peters is one that's signing on to do this. And he is our senator, and we need to let him know we're not happy with that. And all we're really trying to do is silence the anti-global warming people.
Right.
And as we're doing this, I've got this series of books at home, and I brought one in with me. And it's put out by Harvard University. Who else? This particular one is called Islam and Ecology. And what it does is it shows that the center of the Islam faith is actually keeping the earth green and warm and beautiful and everything else. Now, the funny thing is they also have another book that they put out called Buddhism and the Ecology. And it shows where ecology is the center of Buddhism. They also have another one out called Confucianism and Ecology.
Wow.
And it shows where, guess what, ecology is the center of their belief. Taoism and ecology. Hinduism and ecology. Indigenous traditions.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my
right
gosh,
there.
I got to see this.
Would that be the Indians, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
And ecology. So that one.
Wow.
But then they also have Christianity and ecology, seeking the well-being of Earth and humans. And this whole practice, this whole series, if you read them all, you can almost open it up, and where it says Islamic, you can
Just
take the
trade
same
out
page
the
from the other
word,
one
yeah.
and put Christian in there.
Cut and paste.
Cut and paste.
Amazing.
The whole thing in there. But in each one of these books, and I've read every single one of them, and that's why I said they're very familiar. And if you read the back, every one of them is by different groups called to be the richest book of ecology, or something like that. But it's really amazing, and it's by Harvard. But you go through the front, and you find out the groups that are financing this, and these are all different groups that get their funding from the U.S. government. And so the U.S. government is trying to push this green thing.
That
this
tricky
global
government.
warming within it. Well, back in 2015, just last year, the EPA did a study on how to get religions involved with pushing the global warming agenda. They actually spent money on studies on how to do that. And you have local governments that are they're putting fees on churches. One was out east called the rain tax. Depending on how much surface area you had covered on the ground, you were charged for that, a fee for that, because of the runoff. So they told the churches if they would push the green agenda, they wouldn't be charged that fee.
Oh my gosh.
So this is happening on the local. And the Catholic Church, the PCA, all the larger denominations are all taking money from the federal government to push the green agenda. So
Unbelievable.
So not only do you have Congress sitting there trying to stifle the think tanks that are saying, hey, this is what science actually says about global warming, they're going in through people's faith to make it a religion.
The left
religion.
has always used that approach, the carrot and the stick, and they've always come up with these ideas, and they will put sanctions if you don't believe what they believe.
Right.
They will
Punish
put
you for
sanctions
it.
on. They will punish you, and when they say stick, they mean it.
Yep.
They will put you in jail. This is again what we go back to Putin.
Yep. And here's the problem I have with this, folks, is I don't know how many people are there familiar with the Emergent Church. We had a gentleman out in Grand Rapids, Bell, Pastor Bell, he called himself, had 3,000 members in this church, and he on his stage. He didn't call it a pulpit. I'm not going to offend him. He called it his stage, and they didn't have sermons. They had discussions. But he
a talk.
Yeah, a talk. Yeah. They had a bowl of water, they had a box of dirt, and they had a cross. And he says, we are baptized into our faith by this water. And when the scripture says God so loved the world, and he picks up a handful of dirt, this is what he meant. He didn't mean you or us. He means he loves the earth. And our faith should be taking care of this earth. And then he goes to the cross, and he says, in the cross, if you pay any attention to the cross, that shows divine child abuse. So all of a sudden, this whole 3,000 Christian church is being told that God so loves the dirt that he wants us to take care of it, and we should pay no attention to the cross. And he pushed this really strong green initiative. He now lives out in California pushing the green initiative.
Wow, perfect state for him.
Yeah, perfect. We have a call from Walter. Walter, I'm going to put you on, but I know you want to talk about a prior caller, and I prefer, unless the other caller can be on to defend himself, not do so. So why don't we just go straight to your comment about Newt Gingrich?
Oh, man, that's disappointing.
I know it, brother, but, I wouldn't then let anybody call and talk about you unless you were able to defend yourself there, too.
I wasn't going to mention their name. I just mentioned it.
Let's talk about Newt. Let's talk about Newt.
But let me say this real quick. Can I say something real quick?
He's good. I like this.
I guys talk. That was the gospel. This person was talking, lining up with the gospel of LeBron James. Okay. That's
No. I'm going to defend right now.
Okay.
I firmly believe that if you do something that you feel is a sin, that it is, and we should not cause a brother to stumble. So if
I'm Pentecostal. That's why I had to say something. But that's a different subject. I respect you on that.
All right.
But
I hear you, Walter.
I get him some other time. Okay, another program. Hey, check this out, though. Newt Gingrich. Did you hear the latest comment he made about Sharia law and what we need to do?
Yeah.
So
I thought that was
people here
great.
that believes in Sharia.
I certainly did hear it, and I totally agree with it. But what people do not understand is if you are a practicing Muslim, you believe in Sharia law.
If I'm not mistaken, especially if you ask the former Muslims that comes on this Christian station, ABN, I'm pretty sure you heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
They do not play around. In fact, they went as far as to say we should not let one Muslim join our military because you can't trust them. And they included 100% of them. If you want to get any wisdom, and knowledge, you talk to one of those former Muslims, they'll break it down to you. But anyway, I agree with Newt Gingrich 100%, and the saddest part about it is you had these talk shows, these national talk show, so-called conservative people criticizing him, saying, well, I think he crossed